Okay, so to get started on our 2-inch riser install project, utilizing the stock cables, which is just a real inexpensive way to bring the handlebars back as far as you possibly can while maintaining the use of all your stock cables. So the first thing you want to do is to, if you have one, you don't actually need one, but you want to get the bike on your bike. And the reason for having the bike whips, of course, is it just makes it so much easier to work on the bike when it's standing straight up. Now, a couple little things I want to go over with you before we get started here, as I've already removed them from the front cowl, is these little black pieces that are back inside the cowl. In order to get them to release, when they're in, they look like this. What you want to do is get something that'll press on the center. When you push it down to the next click, it makes it release and pull out. And then when you go to put it back in the bike later, you'll just put it all the way up and then reinsert it. So you just want to put a little bit of pressure on it, and boom, it'll release for you. Next thing we want to do is to remove the 2 side screws out from the cowl, which I've already done also. There's one on each side. And then you want to make sure on your bike that on the cowl there's a couple little tabs that catch it, so you want to make sure they release on there. And then once you get that done, the cowl will pop right off for you. And you just pull it back, undo your headlight, and then you're going to want to take your cowl and put it in a safe place so it doesn't fall or get scratched. Next thing we want to do is take all the little wire ties and stuff we have on our bike, because you'll need some when you go to put this puppy back together. And just cut all the wire ties, and that's going to allow you to move your cables during your riser install. Okay, once you have them off, the next thing you want to do is get a 10mm socket and wrench. And up here in the front of the bike, you'll notice right here, holding your brake manifold on, is a 10mm screw. You won't need that anymore, as we have to let this float. We have to let this float to have room for the new risers. Just break that loose. Okay, that's going to allow this bracket here to float up to the top. If you want, you can also take it off from down below, but it's going to let it come up on top so you have more room for your cables and your brake line when you pull the actual risers back. Next thing you're going to want to do is, this is the place where you take and you pull your cables on the back side of the tree. So the first thing I recommend is covering your tank with a nice, soft, thick blanket. And then you're going to need a number 4 Allen wrench to come in and break your upper triple tree loose. And break this side loose here. Break this side loose here. And then you'll need a 30mm socket to break your stem nut, or your top cap nut right here free. Make sure you turn it the right way. Once you break that loose, you just pull that off. in the washer. The next thing you need to do, takes a little jockeying, is to lift the upper triple tree off. And if you notice down here on the triple tree, you got two rods going into the top of it, and those rods there are held in with rubber, so sometimes getting them out of there is a little bit of work. You just pull on it and get it out of the rubber, and then you'll notice your tree comes up. You need to take this bracket here off out of the way. It's one of the things that holds the throttle cable from being long enough. Okay. Since this tach cable is routed on the wrong side of the clutch line, what you want to do is come in here. In order to get that apart, you want to lift this up underneath and pull the plug out. Just like that. The same on here. This lifts up. When it's lifted up, you can just pull it apart. I'm sure Suzuki has some nice tools for these. Okay. And then once again, to route them out of there, you want to cut that off, and we can put that back. And also to unclip these out of there. And we'll take and we'll pull this back out of the way. Okay. Then we can just get rid of that bracket and have everything nice and clean on this. Okay, so we have that bracket off, and you're going to want to save this bracket. You're going to want to save this bracket in case you go with the steel braided brake line kit, because you will use it to bolt the manifold back up. The wire retainer bracket. Okay, and then you got that bracket loose. I don't know why Suzuki entrapped all the cables inside this bracket. What I've done is just cut it off and discarded it. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Okay, now for this one here, for the other side, so we can reroute it, you just push down on the little piece right there, right at the front, and this one here will slide right apart. We'll unroute this. Now we've got everything clear to reroute our cables behind the triple tree. So what we want to do here is we want to lift. First ones we want to move, of course, we'll move our throttle cables. And you just look at everything.